Let's go back. Oh God, could be a long one. Here we are.
President Trump at the Whirlpool washing machine factory in Clyde, Ohio. He's just been thanking some of the people who were there. Now let's dip into the president and listen to what he has to say.
Administration's economic.
He's the same color as the boxes. Trump's color, if you had a crayon box, his color would be cardboard box.
Blunders and surrender. On the question of foreign trade, previous leaders were guided by a shameful policy of capitulation, submission, and retreat. For decades, you watched as politicians let foreign nations steal our jobs, loot our factories, and plunder the crown jewels of the U.S. economy. And the word plunder is capitalized. Why?
Thanks for letting us know. If it's capitalized on the teleprompter, that's because they want you to put emphasis on the word. You don't actually have to tell us that it's capitalized. I gotta say though, kids, washer, laveuse, lavradora, Spanish wins. Spanish wins the day here. I want to put things into a lavadora.
Washington stood idly by as other countries engaged in unfair trade practices, such as massive subsidies, currency manipulation, and, in the case of your industry and your company, the wholesale dumping of foreign-made products sold below cost for the sole purpose of driving you out of business so they could give us product at double, triple, and quadruple the price. But we didn't let that happen, did we? For 8 years, Whirlpool begged the Obama-Biden administration, who did nothing to protect American workers from the flagrant dumping of foreign washers, dryers into America. But your cries for help fell on deaf ears. You didn't see any action. They didn't act. They didn't care, and they never will. For 8 long years under Obama-Biden administration, American factory workers received nothing but broken
The Obama-Biden administration.
promises and brazen.
Yeah, I just checked. Trump has never before used the word capitulation in public.
Sellouts.
So he just read it from the...
And lost jobs. The last administration tied America up in one globalist debacle after another. They catered to the special interests while allowing foreign nations to siphon off our wealth.
Globalist is just a dog whistle for anti-Yosemite.
Our dignity, our dreams, our money. The suffering of our workers was met with nothing but cruel betrayal and callous indifference. In 2013, the U.S. International Trade Commission found your competitors from Korea and other countries guilty of dumping washers into the U.S. market and ordered them to pay anti-dumping duties as high as 79%. But rather than pay these very high tariffs, LG and Samsung relocated production to another country, a country called China. Have you ever heard of it? And the last administration did nothing as they kept on dumping washers into the U.S. market with impunity. The Obama-Biden administration was laughed at. They were a joke, and they were perfectly happy to let China win. Your jobs disappear and your factory to close. And you know what it was like. I came through today and everybody was out there, tremendous crowds, waving and cheering. I said, I must have done it right, because you had people that were really something. Because 4 or 5 years ago, this place was a disaster. In 2017, Whirlpool won relief from the ITC once again. Once more, your foreign competitors moved their factories to prevent a level playing field and to avoid liability, shifting production to Thailand and to Vietnam, places that take advantage
Oh
of the
my
United
God!
States.
Oh
Not
my
so
God!
much
Yo,
anymore.
okay, I'm sorry.
This time there were
Yosemite is a confusing word. It really is. It could be Yosemite, could be Yosemite, could be Yosemite, but Thailand? This is a leader of a nation and he read it as Thailand and didn't correct himself? This is the greatest day of my life. Let's go back.
and to Vietnam, Thailand, the ITC once more.
Yeah.
Your foreign competitors move their factories to prevent a level playing field.
Yeah.
And to avoid liability.
Whoa, where
Shifting
to?
production to Thailand.
Yes.
And to Vietnam. Thailand and Vietnam.
There we go,
Two
Thailand.
places that
Yeah.
I like their leaders very much.
Yeah.
They're very nice to us. Do they take
I like getting into Thailand. I like heading right in there. Talk about a V-shaped economy. It's just, I like their leaders very much. There's a lot of dense jungle in there. That's what Thailand is known for. They've clear cut a lot of it though. Sometimes they do that. That's the modern way. It's very modern in Oh my God. Great job, America. Fantastic work, Electoral College. That's where we are.
take advantage of the United States?
Uh-huh.
Not so much anymore.
Oh.
But this time there was one big difference. Instead of an administration that sold out American workers and sold your company out and couldn't have cared less for you, you finally had a president who stood up for the American worker. On January 23rd, 2018, at my desk in the Oval Office, I proudly signed the order to impose a 50% tariff on all
You know, I lived in Thailand during my college days.
foreign-made washing machines. As a result, Whirlpool's 9 factories across the United States were soon thriving like never before, investing in new products, new infrastructure, and hundreds of new American jobs. And I just took a tour, and I actually wanted a couple of those machines for myself. But I just didn't know it was going to be appropriate to ask. But they are beautiful. That includes thousands of new jobs across the Ohio supply chain, from right here in Clyde to Findlay, Ottawa, Greenville, and Marion. All over.
I don't know this for a fact, but it's probably Grenville.
Your company became a shining example. From really a company that was down and out, it became a shining example of what tough trade policies and smart tariffs can bring to jobs and prosperity, to communities like this one all over Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and plenty of other states. They're all
Plenty of other swing states.
doing well. They were doing great. Then the plague came in, and now they're doing great again. We closed it up. We saved millions of lives, but now
We closed up the plague?
we're opening, and it looks like I was right about the V, because you're seeing the kind of numbers that are coming in, and they're coming in strong.
Thailand looks like a V.
They're coming in strong. Should have.
I've come in Thailand strong. I can't. Thailand! Thailand, beautiful shaven. Let's get back to this.
Never happened. Should have never happened. China should have never let it happen. In defending your jobs here at Whirlpool, I was doing exactly what I promised in June 2016. As a candidate for president, I stood before an audience of hardworking patriots at a metals processing facility outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to outline my plan for a new America First trade policy. And it was even a better job? Then I told you, I'm one politician that says, I'm going to do this, and then we do better. We produced more than I promised. And by the way, the wall is being built. It's going to be finished very soon. In my speech, I warned that our politicians have aggressively pursued a policy of globalization, moving our jobs, our wealth, and our factories overseas. I explained that globalization, these are the globalists. I'm not liking globalists too much, but they don't like me too much either. Globalization has made the financial elites who donate to politicians very wealthy, but it's left millions and millions of our workers with nothing but poverty and heartache, and our towns and cities with empty factories and plants.
Watch, they'll spin this. They'll say that he said Thailand because he's so used to the old pronunciation from when he was a businessman, Siam.
For years later, we've made extraordinary progress in reversing the dangerous tide of globalism. Over a period of 4 to 5 years, this took place. Think of it, 4 to 5 years. What we've done is a miracle, and now it's getting even better because we've taken additional steps. And you know, when you do these steps, you have to go through statutory procedures. It's not like, boom, I'm going to just sign it. Has to go out for 90 days of review, then 120 days of review, then more, and we did it as quick as we can. We're doing it right now with the FDA. We're getting vaccines approved in days that nobody thought possible. It would take years and years, and we're doing it in months. We're doing very well. Under my administration, we're fighting for Main Street, not Wall Street. We've rejected globalism and embraced patriotism.
Yeah, he never talks about Wall Street, brags about the NASDAQ 8 minutes ago.
In my speech in Pittsburgh in June of 2016, I made 7 big promises to American workers. Many politicians before me promised change on the campaign trail, only to back down in the face of corporate and international pressure. Like Jerusalem, they all promised Jerusalem, didn't they?
They
did. Years and years. I did it. They didn't do it.
And I still don't understand the benefit of changing the address of the embassy in Israel. I still
do it. They didn't do it. I did it. Move the embassy to Jerusalem, making
person, woman, thigh, camera,
Jerusalem,
TV,
the capital of Israel. They all talked about it. They talked and talked and talked, and then they got into office and they didn't do it.
Yeah,
and
because then people would die.
The pressure was enormous on me too.
Because people would die.
I just didn't take the phone calls.
And people died.
That's true. Leaders would call up from other countries. I say, I know what they're calling about. I'll call them back in a few days. Then I just signed all the papers, got it done, and then I called them back. They said, I was calling about Israel and Jerusalem, but you've already done it. I said, that's right. And they said, oh, okay. I said, hey, I wish you got me a little bit earlier. But I didn't back down from my promises, and I've kept every single one. First, I promised to withdraw the United States from the last administration's disastrous assault on U.S. workers. The Trans-Pacific Partnership would have been a disaster. Would have been a disaster, especially for the automobile industry. It would have put it out of business. My first week in office, I kept that promise and canceled that job-killing catastrophe. Second, I pledged to appoint the toughest and smartest trade negotiators to defend American jobs, and I did with Bob Lighthizer and all of his people. They've been fantastic. Third, I said I would use every legal tool at my disposal to fight back against...
I'm trying to make myself the same color as Trump. I can't even get close. This is as good as I can get. That is such an unnatural skin tone color that I can't even fix it with a computer. I can't recreate it with a computer. This is it. This is as close as I can get, I think.
And I did, and I found some that nobody even knew about. Some of them were very old. They had a lot of dust on them, hadn't been used for decades and decades.
Human.
But I found them.
Trump.
Things you could never get
Human.
past today.
Trump.
Fourth, I promised to label China a currency manipulator, and I did.
After
Fifth,
3
I
years.
said we would bring trade cases against China to crack down on its economic aggression. Sixth, I committed to impose tariffs on goods to protect American jobs and stop China and many other countries' abuses under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act
Hey, Allison.
of 1962 and Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1970.
You missed it, Allison. Trump was talking about his time in Thailand. Spent only a few minutes in Bangkok. Didn't really take as long as he thought.
As your president, I have kept
President Trump there at the Whirlpool factory in Clyde,
no!
Ohio, going over his record when it comes to bringing manufacturing back
Come on.
from overseas.
Come on. No, come on, John. Don't interrupt that. Oh, we got to have commercials. All right, we're going to have to go back to the C-SPAN broadcast. Let's see if that's still doing its thing. I have no idea even how to figure out where that was then. We're just going to have to, let's do C-SPAN, see what we can do here. Ba 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 ba. Here he is. Is it still live? Oh, watch from beginning. So we can go back to the beginning and then. I know I'm free.
Washers and dryers, just like we did with many other things. We'll be making our product here safely, and we'll end reliance on China, just like we did with the washers and dryers, just like we did with many other things.
Many other thights. What? Hold on. I gotta capture that. 2851. Many other thights. He's getting much worse, by the way. I've been monitoring this for a while. He is many other thights. My autocorrect changes to thighs. Just like with many other thighs. With your washers, your dryers, with many other thighs. And that's at 2851. 2851, Whirlpool. You guys are getting a backstage tour today. Here we go.
We'll be making our product here.
It's a lot quieter on this feed than on Fox. I can't really do anything about that. Let me see. We might be too far ahead.
A great company, Honeywell, has opened up.
I don't know how far we were into that. You know what? I can give us a ballpark. Hold on. Did I keep it? I did. So Bill joined him at. There he is. So from, let's say, 34 to 45. So only about 11. God, that was only 11 minutes. All right, let's back it up. Back it up, people.
He's tough. More jobs. Full policy of capitulation.
So about 14.
Submission. Earlier this year, I finally ended the NAFTA nightmare and signed the brand new USMCA agreement. That's United States and Mexico and Canada.
Okay, he's really quiet on the C-SPAN feed, so I'm going to turn myself down as I just did, and you guys can turn your volume up if you want to hear him better. So hopefully that turns me down. I know I'm like way louder than he is usually. Here we go.
And all of those bad things that you had to suffer with, you're not suffering anymore, because now people and companies have an incentive to stay. They're not going to be leaving so fast.
Bye, Andy.
That was the biggest point I made. I want to make sure that these companies aren't leaving and the managers walk up and they say, I'm sorry, our company's leaving, going to Mexico or Canada, but going primarily in that case to Mexico. Canada takes advantage of us with dairy. Unbelievable advantage, but not anymore. But Mexico took a lot of jobs. And I said, I don't want companies moving. And if they do move, remember, you've heard it, if they do move, when they make that product, they got to pay a big price to sell it back into our country. So they have no more incentive to move. The USMCA contains powerful new protections for American manufacturers, automakers, farmers, dairy producers, and workers all across Ohio and all of our states. Those were key promises I made to American workers in 2016. I kept every single one of them. The fake news media back there, they hate to report this. They hate it. Why do they hate it? Because they're fake. Today, to define our path
Okay.
forward, I'm making our incredible
Fair.
workers 6 more promises that I will keep over the next 4 years, and I'm very proud to make them at your plant and in the state of Ohio. First and foremost, we will defeat the China virus. We're working very, very hard. We call it the China virus. We call it the invisible enemy. We call it many different names. Got many
Just call it
different
COVID.
names,
That's
but
fine.
It's bad.
COVID, coronavirus.
And we've made tremendous strides. We're attacking the virus from every angle, and through this aggressive strategy, we will win the war, and it will happen.
I can't imagine another president in the last 50 years, my lifetime, calling something the China virus when COVID-19 that's what it is. We know what it is, but calling it specifically the China virus. The same country he just signed a deal with, it's not holding up their end of the deal. China had a GDP growth last year of 6.1%, even despite Trump's tariffs. Ours was 2.1.
Sooner than people think. We're developing a bounty of therapies such as remdesivir, dexamethasone, antibody treatments. The antibody treatments are really working out well, really well, and many more that have.
So three treatments. That's a bounty. I'm surprised you didn't mention hydroxychloroquine there.
Allowed us to reduce mortality by 85% since April. Under Operation Warp Speed, 2 vaccines are already in the final stage of clinical trials, and we'll have a vaccine very soon, I hope long before the end of the year. We've dramatically increased our domestic production of personal protective equipment, such.
That's funny, Marcy. He does know what a bounty is. No, that's 2 different types of bounties, though. That's the problem. He thinks Russia's putting a bounty on American soldiers. This is like, yeah, no, we're giving them all these different therapies. It's important because of PTSD.
Such as N95 respirators, gowns, and gloves. We've got factories now all over the United States making these products. And we've developed the most advanced testing system on earth to produce our most, and this is what we have to do. We have to produce not only cleanliness and perfection in every way, but we have to protect our most vulnerable citizens against this horrible virus.
Okay, he just totally lost his place there. He said it was something about producing something and then stopped.
These products. And we've developed the most advanced testing system on earth to produce our most, and this is.
Okay, it said protect, and he read produce. We've developed the most advanced testing system on earth to produce. He was supposed to read protect our most vulnerable citizens.
This is what we have to do. We have to produce not only cleanliness and perfection in every way, but we have to protect our most vulnerable citizens.
Yeah, there it is. So he read produce, and then he had to work produce in there because he never makes a mistake. We have to produce the most cleanliness, the water, the sharp water to protect our most vulnerable citizens. Nailed it!
Citizens against this horrible virus. And that's generally speaking the elderly, especially the elderly with problems of the heart, problems with the heart.
I have problems with the heart.
Diabetes in particular, those 2 are a basic disaster.
Yeah, kids, don't end up with diabetes. It's important.
Risk while allowing those at lower risk to get safely back to work and to school. Instead of a never-ending blanket lockdown causing severe long-term public health consequences, we've targeted.
Consequences. No one's advocating for a never-ending lockdown. Nobody has ever said go home and stay there forever.
To work and to
consequences.
School. Instead of a never-ending blanket lockdown causing severe long-term public health consequences, we've targeted and looked at data-driven approaches, and that's what we're doing. Again, when you close down, and we had to do it initially because it came and hit us big, hard, and nobody knew what it was, and we saved millions of lives. But today, you just pin.
I hit it big, hard, and nobody knew what it was. You know I'm talking about Thailand.
Pointed. We know what to do, and we know who to.
We know who to produce?
Protect.
Oh,
as an example, very young children are incredibly powerful. They're much stronger than all of us when it comes to the immune system. It's an incredible thing to see.
It is
But
incredible
we know who to
lies.
protect,
It's not
and
true.
we know what to do. And let me tell you, lockdowns have big consequences in terms of drugs, in terms of family, in terms of depression.
Especially with the incredibly
suicide,
young children.
in terms of so many other problems that are caused, and not good for the kids. And they don't learn the same at a computer as they do when they're in a classroom. So there are big
Problems?
problems with lockdowns.
They're applauding kids not learning as well on computers. Who are these people?
But we cannot defeat the virus by fighting against each other. Just can't. And there are a lot of different theories and a lot of different ways.
That is
But
true.
If you look at some of the results, you'll see some of the states governor-run, some of the states that are open and
Some of the states are governor-run. That is also true. We're really doing well with the fact checks today.
run very smart, are doing very well, and in fact better than strong.
Marcy, you missed it, I think. The county in Georgia, one of the counties in Georgia, had 90 staff members that have been quarantined for one reason or another, and they just went to distance learning as well. And that was Barrow County in Georgia. So yeah, it's happening.
Lockdown states. Now is the time to come together as Americans and to unite against the plague inflicted upon us by China.
February was the time. Think about
Together
that.
we will
There you go.
prevail. My second promise to you is this: we will rise from the current adversity of this
Jesus Christ, that was one of 6 promises.
horrible, invisible enemy, and we will
Look, David, if I went around saying that I was king just because some moistened bint absorbed a scimitar at me, they'd put me
be
away.
more prosperous and resilient than ever before. We've done things that we never knew we could do. We're building factories now. We're building plants. You'll see what's going to be happening with
We-
the job
we knew we
numbers
could do
very
that.
soon. We had 2 of the best months ever in the history of our country, and we're going to have many, many very, very successful years.
Many,
Unless
very,
somebody
very big, successful years.
along and destroys it by doubling, tripling, and quadrupling your taxes, and
Doubly
quadrupling
tripling?
something else. Successful years, unless somebody comes along and destroys it by doubling, tripling, and quadrupling your taxes,
By doubly tripling.
and quadrupling something
That's my favorite order at In-N-Out. I'll take a doubly triple, please.
else called regulations. It will
6
be ended.
patties.
It will be depression time.
Someone was mentioning diabetes.
One of the key lessons we've learned in this battle against the China virus is that the mighty American economy has a fantastic ability to adapt and repurpose its factories. Today, using the Defense Production Act, which we've used often. Remember, they'd always say, oh, use the Defense Production Act. We've used it a lot, more than some companies would like to know.
What does that even mean? More than some company. We've used it a lot, more than some companies would like to know. There's companies out there going like, we don't tell us that we're producing swabs. What does that mean? Come on, go ahead. Anytime now. That's you, Mr. President.
Manufacturing miracle after another. We've seen General Motors
Rich.
repurpose an auto parts facility in Kokomo, Indiana, great state, and thereby stand
Jamaica.
up a
Ooh, I
ventilator.
wanna
We
take
have a
you to-
ventilator factory literally in a matter of days, and we're now producing thousands and thousands of ventilators a
Come
week.
on, pretty mama.
General Motors
Key
has now
Largo,
built and
Montego,
delivered more than
baby, why don't
20,000
we go?
ventilators.
That's what we need to do. We need to
By
do a
next
Zoom
week,
call,
our
and we'll all sing the
strategic
parts.
national stockpile will be equipped to deploy more than
We'll take it
100,000
fast and
ventilators.
then we'll take
They're
it
very
slow.
expensive to build. They're very
That's
complex,
where we
very, very
wanna
complex
go.
machines. And
Way down
big.
in Kokomo.
And I said that we are now supplying
Port
ventilators
of
to many, many countries
I
of the
want
world,
to catch a
everybody
glimpse.
in our country has.
Oh, that's right. Trump
not
is talking.
Not one person, and we had no ventilators. Who knew about ventilators? We had very few. But not one person who needed a ventilator.
13,000. We had
Who
13,000.
needed a ventilator didn't get it. Every person that needed a ventilator got it. Who would have thought that was possible? And you remember at the very beginning
not
when
true.
you first heard about
I mean,
this whole horrible
it was possible, but
situation
it's not
with
true.
the China virus.
Gyna virus.
Ventilators, they
You know where you
weren't
catch the
around.
Gyna virus?
And now we work it by
Thailand.
the thousands. Working with GM and almost a dozen other companies, great companies, my administration has turned America into the ventilator king of the world. The ventilator king. Make them good, and we make them great.
My administration has turned America into the ventilation king of the world.
Ventilators to friends and allies, and they're really thankful. They're calling. Can I have ventilators for our country, sir? How many do you need? Could you send 1,000? I said, so a lot? The answer is yes. What we're doing is incredible. We're helping we're doing more good.
We know that's not true because they use sir.
Because other things you can make.
That's how the other
gallons,
leaders of the
swabs,
world
and
talk to
things you
him.
can make. We're
They call
making
him
them
sir.
too. But ventilators are tough. Ventilators are just one part of our historic manufacturing ramp up.
And now this
Within
country
7
is the
days of
ventilator
New York City
shaft of the
officials asking
world.
for assistance last spring, we helped ship 1 million yards of fabric from North Carolina to New York City for masks and gowns. We're making them all over the place. A great company, Honeywell, has opened up N95 respirator factories in Rhode Island and Arizona in record time. And they're now churning out tens of millions of masks for our strategic national stockpile. These include manufacturing achievements, and these are incredible. They'll be the foundation.
Biden's
of
still
an
going to
even
hurt
brighter
God. There's
future
nothing
for
they can do about
American
that.
industry. What we've been
Sorry,
able
Lizzie.
to do in a short period of time is frankly incredible. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the people out there. What they've done is incredible, including the military and some of the generals and admirals, the job they've done. My third promise is to build on these gains to turn America into the premier medical manufacturer, pharmacy, and drugstore of the world. As we've seen in this pandemic, the United States must produce essential equipment, supplies, and pharmaceuticals for ourselves. We cannot rely on China and other nations across the globe that could one day deny us products in a time of need. We can't do it. We can't do it. We have to be smart. And speaking of pharmaceuticals, we instituted 4 moves, rebates, favored nations, and other things, buying from other nations where they have the product, the same exact pill, identical, made in the same factory, for a fraction, just a small fraction of the cost. We buy from other countries as opposed to buying through this ridiculous quagmire of political scam that we've been going through for many years. And what I've done in terms of favored nations, if, as an example, Germany has a pill for 10 cents.
10 cents,
and we have
we
a bill
paid
for
$2.
$2. We institute favored nations on the drug company. We get the pill for the same amount as the lowest pill anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. And that could drop your price of pharmaceuticals, of drugs, prescription drugs, could drop your price 50, 60, 70%, maybe more than that. This is something. Now, I have to tell you, I have never seen so many bad commercials about me as in the last 3 days since I did this.
I haven't seen any of them.
So will you remember that when you see this horrible commercial that I'm a socialist? I was called a socialist for the first time in my entire life. Actually, what I am doing is I'm using socialist countries who are buying our product for far less than we're allowed to. I'm saying, well, if you're going to sell it to this country, might be socialist, for a lower price, so we're going to get...
So socialized countries are paying less for prescriptions.
that same price. So, you know,
Huh.
I've been called everything in the book.
Huh.
And I say,
How
I said the
about
other
that,
day,
Trumpy?
whenever you see a drug company advertising that Donald Trump's a bad guy, remember your drug prices must be coming down very big. Very big. So please remember that. Please remember that, because I don't want to get all those negative votes and then Biden wins and first month he'll say, I dropped drug prices 78%, and he won't even know what the hell he's saying. I don't want to be watching that from some beautiful resort someplace in the world. I could have, I had such a beautiful life before I did this, but that's okay, because we're doing a great job. And it makes me very happy to see people being properly represented for a change. But during the course of the next 4 years, we will bring our pharmaceutical and medical supply chains home. We're going to bring them home where they belong.
What?
And we'll end. But during the course of the next 4 years, we will bring our pharmaceutical and medical supply chains.
Wish you didn't have to pay full
Shut
price
up.
for Xbox
Oh
gear?
my God.
WikiBuy can help with that.
Shut up. Sorry. Let's go back. I want to hear something
Represented for a change. But during the course of the next 4 years, we will bring our pharmaceutical and medical supply chains home. We're going to bring...
Yeah, he said chains. Supply chains. He's getting worse, people. We better hope he doesn't snap completely by ejection day. He just said supply chains. Okay, that is 2842. Wow. Wow.
Bring them home where they belong, and we'll end reliance on China, just like we did with the washers and dryers, just like we did with many other things. We'll be making our product here.
Got that
safely,
one already.
Beautifully, and inexpensively.
Many other fights.
We're reasserting American economic independence, and I've been doing that from the first day I came into office. To this end, a short time ago, I signed a new executive order to ensure that when it comes to essential medicines, we buy American. The executive order will require that U.S. government agencies purchase all essential medicines that we need from American sources. The executive order will also sweep away unnecessary regulatory barriers to domestic pharmaceutical production and support advanced manufacturing processes that will keep our drug prices low and allow American companies to compete on the world stage. We'll be able to compete on the world stage, but we're now going to have the lowest prices as opposed to by far.
So he's been lambasting Big Pharma for advertising against him and saying that they're fake ads. Fox News was trying to find some of those ads. I haven't seen any, and neither has Fox News. This is as of 2 days ago. So he's just inventing this enemy, as he does. But you got to be careful, because Big Pharma, they will hurt God, and they will hurt Bible.
The highest prices. I have people that I know that go to Canada. They go
Yeah.
to Canada
Yes.
to buy drugs.
To play hockey, because the coronavirus is completely out of control here in the United States.
To buy prescription drugs, they go there because the price is so much lower than the United States.
Yeah.
And yet it's made by the same company, often in the same plant. It's a disgrace. And the politicians allowed this to happen for many, many decades.
Yeah.
You have people called middlemen. I don't know who the middlemen are.
You're the
They
president.
never say middle women, so they're politically not correct. But I've heard the term middlemen for a long time. They are so wealthy. They are so wealthy. Nobody has any idea who the hell they are, what they do.
David, where you live, you can just walk out into the street. Don't worry about the alley. Nobody cares.
They make more money than the drug companies. You know, in all fairness, at least the drug companies have to produce a product. And it has to be a good product. But the middlemen, well, the rebate that I'm doing cuts out the middlemen and it reduces costs, and the money goes back to the people purchasing the drugs. So I have a lot of enemies out there. This may be the last time you'll see me for a while. A lot of very, very rich enemies, but they are not happy with what I'm doing. But I figure we have one chance to do it, and no other president's going to do what I do. No other president would do.
Oh, God, we can only hope. God, we can only hope no other president wouldn't do what you're going to do.
A rebate, a buy from other nations at much less cost. Nobody. And there are a lot of unhappy people. And they're very rich people, and they're very unhappy. Here's my fourth promise to American workers.
Oh, God.
Beyond our medical supply chains over the next 4 years, we will onshore millions of new manufacturing jobs across many other critical sectors that are
We will
vital
what?
to our medical supply chains over the next 4 years. We will onshore millions of new manufacturing. Here's my fourth.
Launchor? We will launchor millions? That's, yeah, no, sorry. There's a leaf blower person somewhere out there. So, yeah, we will what? Longshore? Millions?
Promise to American workers.
Yeah.
Beyond our medical supply chains over the next 4 years, we will onshore millions of new manufacturing jobs across many other critical
Longshore?
sectors that are
Is he saying
vital
longshore?
to our medical supply chains over the next 4 years. We will onshore millions of new manufacturing jobs across many other.
I think he's supposed to say launch, but is there another word with which I'm unfamiliar? Longshore? Will longshore millions of, is that an expression?
Promise to American workers. Beyond our medical supply chains over the next 4 years, we will onshore millions of new manufacturing jobs across many other critical sectors that are vital to our national.
Yeah, but launch our millions of manufacturers, that doesn't make any sense. But
Security and prosperity, from electronics to machine tools to shipping, aerospace, autos, and of course to iron and to steel. And we'll never forget your washers and your dryers, okay? During 8 years of the last administration. And by the way, I have to just tell you this little story, a couple of little stories, if you don't mind. Do you mind?
oh, good.
Okay, because that's better than the other stuff, right?
Yes.
No, I was with somebody and they said, you know, for a dishwasher, we don't have enough water, sir. I think a lot of the people in the audience would understand what I'm saying. They don't have enough water.
Was it the women?
Restrictors on, so you don't have any water. And I said, what is that? What is that? In most states, I mean, outside of desert areas, we have so much water we don't know what to do with it, right? A lot of states. Your state does pretty well with water, right?
California's
So
in
we have plenty
trouble.
of water. So I passed a regulation, I signed a regulation that give the dishwashers much more water. And I was asking today, and that, by the way, includes your washers. You don't need too much water in your dryers, but it includes your washers. And I was just saying to your brilliant people that are doing such a good job running your company, I said, how much impact has that had? They said, unbelievable. It's been unbelievable. Because I had people saying they'd wash their dishes and they'd press the button 5 times. So in the end, they're probably wasting more water than if they did it once. So do you notice the people that make the machine?
Do you have friends that wash their dishes 5 times, that run the dishwasher 5 times? And if you do, would you just suggest to them that they rinse before putting the dishes in the dishwasher?
Machines, you know what I'm talking about. We now have the water that you need instead of stupid, where you have much less water than you need. And
Instead of what? Stupid?
So
Instead
do
of
you notice
stupid?
the people that make the machines, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We now have the water that you need instead of stupid, where you have much less water than you need, and you just keep going.
We have the water that you need unsaid of stupid.
So do you notice the people that make the machines, you know what I'm talking about. We now have the water that you need instead of stupid, where you have much less water than you need, and you just keep.
We have the water that you need unsaid of stupid. He said unstead again. We have the water that you need unsaid of stupid. Hold on. I'm going to mark that down and just take that out of context, because there is no context there. 3312. Unsaid of stupid. We have the water that you need unsaid of stupid.
Once. So do you notice the people that make the machines, you know what I'm talking about. We now have the water that you need instead of stupid, where you have much less water than you need, and you just keep going over and over again. I had people say they pressed the button 5 times. They didn't have enough water. And the same thing.
You had those people? Are they in your
sinks,
administration?
toilets, and showers. You go into a new home, you turn on the faucet, no water comes out.
He's doing the water cycle again.
You turn on the shower. If you're like me, you can't wash your beautiful hair properly.
What about
You
light
waste
bulbs?
20 minutes longer, please.
Can
Come
you
out,
rail
the
against
water.
light bulbs,
It drips,
please,
right?
sir?
You know what I'm talking? They put restrictors on. I got rid of that. I signed it out. It's common sense. So now
By the way,
when
he
you actually
didn't.
go into a new home and pay a lot of money, you turn on a faucet and water actually comes out. Isn't that nice? That was a regulation that was put in by a lot of people that don't understand life. Because you end up using the same amount of water. You just let it run 3 times longer. It's crazy.
No.
And one other thing I did, remember the old light bulb? The old light bulb.
Here's the light bulbs.
And they put it out of business. It was
Uh-huh.
much cheaper, and it had
Makes you
much
look
better
orange.
light.
Yeah.
And you're all good-looking people, but you look better under the old light bulb than that horrible new light bulb, right?
Uh-huh.
Cost you a fraction of the cost. Didn't last
Makes you look
as
like
long,
cardboard.
That's okay, but it cost you a fraction. I reinstituted and opened it up so they can sell both. They can sell the new one if you want it, and they can sell the old one. The old one's doing amazing business.
Is it?
Amazing business.
Uh-huh.
And you know, the new one is considered hazardous waste. When you lose it, you're supposed to take it down to a dump, a specified dump. How many people are going to do that with a light bulb? Hey, you know, we lost this light bulb. Let's travel 28 miles.
You lose a light bulb? I've never heard anyone use that expression. Is that a New York thing? A lot of stupid New York expressions like standing online.
Outside of the city to get rid of it. It's
Light bulbs
hazardous
burn
waste.
out.
So I put the old bulb back in, and you can use the new one. You can use anything. I guess it's competition. But I particularly like it because I don't look so orange. So it's
Yeah. Lizzie, I'm just going to let everybody else read your tweet, whatever thing there. I can't.
very nice. Very nice. I don't want to look. I don't like that look. Never liked it.
Wait, let's go
But
back.
it's a tremendous. Nice.
Did he use the orange line?
New one, you can use anything. I guess it's competition. But I particularly like it because I don't look so orange.
Yeah.
So it's very nice. Very nice. I don't want to look. I don't like that look. Never liked it. But it's a tremendous thing, and it's having tremendous
So they've got a secondary microphone there for him to call other people up, but so far nobody.
success.
Maybe somebody spoke before him and introduced him. That would make sense.
So they'll, scoff and say, oh, who cares about that? Very big stuff. These are big things. A lot of people have come up, thank you, sir. They had sinks that didn't give water. They had showers that didn't give water, the whole thing. And it's been a great thing. It's been very popular. And we might as well tell you about it because people don't talk about it. But these are things that no other president would be doing. No other president, frankly, would be even thinking about. During 8 years of the last administration, America lost 10,000 factories and nearly 200,000 manufacturing jobs. Think of that. In contrast, my administration added over 500,000 manufacturing jobs. It was up to actually 701,000 jobs before the plague came in.
Was not.
And if you remember,
We were in a
President
manufacturing
Obama,
contraction.
You need a magic wand. No, you don't. We need manufacturing jobs.
Not what he said.
We won't have any more manufacturing jobs.
Not what he said.
You need a magic wand. He was wrong about that also. My fifth promise to American workers is to
Thanks,
bring
Steve.
back American jobs and factories using every tool at my disposal, including tariffs. I love properly put on tariffs because they bring unfair competitors from foreign countries.
Earlier today, you
Do
said you
whatever
opposed
want to do.
tariffs.
Countervailing duties and new trade deals based on the principle of fairness and reciprocity. And I'll be signing something very important. Watch over the next week. I think you'll be very proud of your president. I'm going to be signing something that's very important over the next probably week. And it'll have a tremendous impact on fairness and trade. As part of this commitment, earlier today I signed a proclamation.
Within a week, something about trade, something tremendous about trade. By the end of the month, healthcare. And then by the end of next month, DACA. Dookie. Those are the deadlines that we have right now, plus many, many other very, very big things. But that's a new one.
That defends American industry by reimposing aluminum tariffs on Canada. Canada was taking advantage of us, as usual. And I signed it.
As usual. The United States has had a surplus with Canada for decades.
Imposes because the aluminum business was being decimated by Canada. Very unfair to our jobs and our great aluminum workers. 7 months ago, my administration agreed to lift those tariffs in return for a promise from the Canadian government that its aluminum industry would not flood our country with exports and kill all our aluminum jobs, which is exactly what they did. Canadian aluminum producers have broken that commitment, and the U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer has advised me that this step to reimpose tariffs is absolutely necessary to defend our aluminum industry. To be a
Yeah, aluminum workers. They're the ones that make the aluminum trees.
strong nation, America must be a manufacturing nation and not be led by a bunch of fools. That means protecting our national
That means voting for Biden.
industrial base. We have to protect our great companies and our great workers. My sixth and final promise today is to forever
Did he do the fifth one? I've lost.
uphold the commitment I made from the beginning. I will always put American workers first, always. They'll always be put first.
That's not really a promise. Did he do a fifth one? Well, I mean, actually, we can look in the transcript later, but I don't care. He did a fifth one? Okay, fellas, thank you.
Union or non-union, it doesn't matter to me. But I did one hell of a good job for the unions. You know, all the union heads are against me, but all the workers are for me, so something's right. The workers are for me. Usually the union heads are wined and dined in Washington pretty good by the Democrats. As part of this commitment, on Monday I signed an executive order to prevent government agencies like the Tennessee Valley Authority from replacing American workers
Steve.
with cheap foreign labor. There's a very big...
Steve says Trumpers need aluminum for their special hats. You're Trump's foil, Steve.
Utility run by a man that gets $8 million a year. Would anybody in this room like that job? $8 million? $8 million a year, right? Highest paid. He really doesn't work for me. I wouldn't pay $8 million. If you paid him, the president gets $450,000. I give up my salary. Nobody ever says that. I might as well every once in a while say it.
You say that all the time.
I believe I'm the only president to do that. And I'm saying that's not too smart. But the Tennessee Valley Authority pays $8 million a year to the head. And after the authority laid off 20% of its American technology workforce and forced them to train their foreign replacements this week, I told the chairman of the board, "You're fired." And the firings will continue unless the layoffs are reversed
until morale
and the
improves.
American workers are rehired. And by the way, as I was leaving for the great state of Ohio, did you ever watch Biden where he's always saying the wrong state? It's great to be in Florida. No, it's Ohio. I've never seen a guy, I haven't done that one yet. That's a disaster. I always say, Jim Jordan, if you do that, it's over, right? You can be Winston Churchill, the speech is over. You just walk off the stage. But he does it all the time. Nobody calls him for it. I love the state of Iowa.
Nobody calls him for it, not on it. If you're going to make fun of somebody making a mistake with their diction, maybe get yours right.
Sir, it's Idaho. It's Idaho. And the worst is when he's in like Indiana and he says it's great to be with the people of Florida and you have palm trees all over the place. But he does it all the time.
If there are palm trees all over the place, he's in Florida.
The worst is when he's in like Indiana.
Uh-huh.
And he says it's great to be with the people of Florida and you have palm trees all over the place.
Yeah. Wow. Burn. Yeah. So he's actually in Florida. And he says it's great to be with the people of Florida. Woo! Trump, you just won the election there, buddy.
It's Idaho. And the worst is when he's in like Indiana and he says it's great to be with the people of Florida and you have palm trees all over the place. But he does it all the time. There's something
yes, you
going
do.
on. But over the last 4 years, we've made extraordinary strides, and over the next 4 years together, we will turn the United States into the unrivaled manufacturing superpower of the world. We've been through a lot together. They've done everything possible to get in my way. They've treated us very unfairly, disgracefully, with what they've done to us. And despite what they've done, no administration in the history of this country has done more in the first 3.5 years than we have. Whether it's rebuilding our military, all made in the USA, whether it's the biggest tax cuts in history, whether it's the biggest regulation cuts in history, ANWR in Alaska, the largest field perhaps in the world that Ronald Reagan, going back even before Ronald Reagan, no president could get it approved. I got it approved, and now it's potentially one of the greatest sites in the world. Should be the greatest site in the world. So many different things we've done. We've done so much. What we've done for our vets, and you're a big vet state. Ohio loves its vets, and what...
Oh, hold on. How do we get it back?
Ladies and gentlemen, the president, I'm very grateful for the terror.
Few words, please. Think of how ridiculous this is. And you won't be able to use your guns because they're going to end your Second Amendment as sure as you're
40, so we were about here.
But the
God.
proud people of Ohio, which is
going.
probably the worst of all the deals if you want to know that much. Done for our vets, and you're a big vet state. Ohio loves its vets, and what we've done for our vets, choice and accountability.
God, there's another 18 minutes of
for
this.
Almost 50 years. Choice, veterans' choice. How about that? We got that for you. So if you have to wait online for 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months, and they had to wait 2 months sometimes. If they had to wait online, they don't anymore. They go outside, they get a private doctor, we approve it, we pay the bill, and we take care of our vets like they're supposed to be taken care of. Just got a 91% approval rating. VA just got a 91% approval rating, highest ever, the highest it's ever had. And accountability, we have people that are we're so scornful. They had hatred for our vets. They were treating our vets badly. Our vets have to be treated great. But you couldn't fire them. They could be sadistic, they could be thieves, they could be anything. You couldn't fire them because of civil service unions, etc. You know. Couldn't fire them. And I got the accountability, VA accountability. Now you look at them, they don't do a
Obama
good job
did
for our
2014.
vets. You say, Jim, you're fired. Boom, get out. That's the story. We actually terminated over 8,000 people that were not treating our vets well, and they were there for a long time. That sounds a little bit cold, but the truth is they got to treat our vets well, right? So they have to do it. But we got accountability and we got VA choice. But to achieve the vision that we've been talking about for so long, we must finish the job and drain the Washington swamp once and for all, and we're doing it. For years, left-wing politicians smiled and looked at American workers right in the eye.
Yeah, hold on. So, so somebody named Lord Jacob Rothschild keeps trying to swear in the chat room, and YouTube will automatically block that, Lord Jacob. So don't be a douche, basically. You can say the occasional swear word, and YouTube will let you through. But if you swear a lot, YouTube automatically filters that. Just FYI. So if you want to keep chatting, watch your language. It's not us. It's YouTube.
And took advantage of them and lied to them. They took your endorsements.
Oh,
they
Danielle
took your
got rid
money,
of you.
and
Okay.
they took your votes, and they did nothing. Then they turned around and inflicted one corrupt betrayal of the American middle class after another. Whether it was NAFTA, TPP, the horrible Korea deal, the ridiculous Paris Climate Accord.
There wasn't a Korea deal. That's okay.
How's it working out for Paris? Not so good.
How's it working out for
China's
Paris?
Entry into the World Trade Organization, which is probably the worst of all the deals, if you want to know the truth.
He thinks that it's actually Paris's climate deal. What a moron. What a fucking moron. The Paris climate deal. Because Paris put the thing together. Oh my God.
That was where China signed that, and they went up like a rocket ship. And they violated the rules like nobody's ever violated them before. In fact, they're considered a developing nation. And because they're a developing nation, they have advantages. Well,
No, they don't.
accept that.
They don't have any
For years,
advantages.
they accepted that. And by the way, Joe Biden supported every single one of those horrible, disastrous sellouts. Under this administration, those days have been over. And we're not
Okay. If they've been over, then
going
we're
back.
good, right?
We're respected again as a country. You know, we're respected
Are
again.
we?
You may not feel it, although I think you do.
Yeah, let me just fly around the planet and then ask everybody if they... Oh, that's right. We're not allowed outside the country. That's how much we're respected.
May not see it. You don't read about it from the fake news, but this country is respected again. We don't let people take advantage.
There's no way to find out. You can't go anywhere to ask. You won't see it in the newspapers, but trust me, it's true.
Advantage of us, including our allies, who took tremendous advantage of us. Tremendous.
We're respected by our allies, who took tremendous advantage of us.
Our allies took tremendous advantage of us, both militarily, where they don't pay their bills. We protect them, they don't pay. Like Germany, we're reducing the force, they don't pay. They're delinquent, I say it all the time. They're delinquent, they gotta pay. You know, we protect Germany from Russia.
They're not delinquent. That's not the way it works.
And yet, Germany's paying billions of dollars a year, billions and billions to Russia for energy.
For natural gas.
So
yeah.
I say, what's that all about?
Well, they need
we
natural
protect,
gas.
and they pay money, and we protect.
Yeah.
So
because they need energy.
We don't stand for things like that, but we have many other things. I could stand up here all
And
day
then
long and tell you things.
The money that Russia makes from Germany, they use to put bounties on the heads of American soldiers serving in Afghanistan, for which there are no consequences. You want to put a stop to things? Ball's in your court, buddy.
That you wouldn't even believe. To fully restore American prosperity, we must stop the radical left-wing movement that would destroy our country. They want to impose $3 trillion of new taxes on American families. They want to ban
Yep.
fracking,
That's C-SPAN
which will
doing that, by the way.
demolish your state. It will demolish Ohio oil and gas jobs. They want to rejoin the disastrous Paris Climate Accord, where you'll pay
All your money to Paris. Billions and billions.
billions and billions of dollars for the privilege of getting ripped off by other countries and inflict a socialist takeover of the U.S. economy known as the horrendous Green New Deal. Was conceived by a young woman, AOC plus 3, I say. AOC, that's a real beauty, isn't it?
So that's 4 women.
She knows as much about the environment. Do we have any young children here? Has that young child over there? I think he knows more. And she certainly knows.
Oh, there's an interpreter. Check out the interpreter on the left here. I love watching the interpreters. The interpreter's got a face mask, which is unusual because usually what I've heard is that they don't have to wear the face mask so that people can read their lips as well, but don't know anything about this specific situation. But check out the interpreter here doing the body language of Trump. And I cannot... Where's the 10-second button? Sorry, guys. Let's go back just a little bit.
By other countries and inflict a socialist takeover of the U.S. economy known as the horrendous Green New Deal. Was conceived by a young woman, AOC. AOC plus 3, I say. AOC, that's a real beauty, isn't it?
Go ahead.
She knows as much about the environment. Do we have any young children here? Has that young child over there? I think he knows more. And she certainly knows nothing about the economy. And if they ever had their chance, you would find that out, and it wouldn't take very long. You know, Venezuela was a very wealthy country 20 years ago, one of the wealthiest. Per capita, one of the wealthiest. Tremendous oil reserves.
It was not. This is his favorite thing to say per capita once in a while, is specifically when he's talking about Venezuela 20 years ago. Per capita growth in Venezuela just kept going up and up until the last couple of years.
Now they don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have medicine, they don't have anything. Same thing could happen, same or similar ideology. They also want to throw open American borders.
Or, like the socialized countries he just finished talking about, we could end up paying a lot less for drugs. Go. Come on.
And does anybody really think he's strong enough to stand up to these ruthless, vicious people? You look at Portland, you look at what's going on in Seattle. These are the people that you're dealing with.
Nothing's going on in Seattle anymore.
If I didn't send in the troops, if I didn't send in the great people from Homeland Security, you'd have courthouses and post offices and everything else burned down, blown up. And we may send in something else because, you know what, they've been rioting now for 70 days and the mayor thinks it's just wonderful and the governor has no idea what she's doing. I've never seen people like this. Remember in Seattle, where they took over a big chunk of the city, Seattle.
3 blocks,
And
Seattle.
the mayor said, it's going to be a summer of love. And I said, she's just kidding, right? Isn't she? She wasn't kidding. But we were also set to send in the troops.
Sorry, it's C-SPAN that's wigging out on me, guys. It keeps pausing. It's not me. Oh, I just paused it right now, but you know what I'm saying.
And the people that we were going to send in, and what happened is amazing. We told them, and all of a sudden the police went out and they cleaned it up. But that place would still be occupied if we didn't get involved. Same thing with Minneapolis.
They did not get involved. The police.
Minneapolis was a disaster. After 5 or 6 days, they were going to lose that whole city. We sent in the National Guard.
They did not send in the National Guard. The governor called in the National Guard before Trump suggested calling the National Guard.
They took care of things in about 1 hour. Remember the scene of them walking down the street, firing the tear gas? Now you're not even allowed, if you're looking at the other side.
It's not how you
you're
fire
not allowed
tear
to use
gas.
Tear gas.
That's
Or
not.
pepper spray. You can't use any of that stuff.
It's too
They
pausy.
can use Molotov cocktails and horrible things on you, but you're not allowed to do anything. So the police didn't want to have anything to do with the convention in a great state, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, for the Democrats. You couldn't use tear gas. You couldn't use pepper spray. You couldn't use anything. Think of how ridiculous this is. And you won't be able to use your guns because they're going to end your Second Amendment as sure as you're sitting there. But the proud people of Ohio
You know, the way Obama ended your Second Amendment.
will not let that happen. Together, we will preserve, protect, and defend our American way of life as long as I am president. Thank you. Thank you. As long as I am president of the United States, I will fight for you with every ounce of energy and strength that I have. I will be your voice.
That's not
I will
much.
defend your jobs. I will stand up to the foreign trade cheaters and violators that hate our country. I will never let you down. I will have your back 100%. For more than a century, the workers of this company have continued the proud tradition
Yeah, you go to bed, Barb. This is exhausting.
of American greatness embodied by your legendary founder, Lou Upton. It's a heritage grounded in the values of hard work and determination, innovation and excellence, faith and family, loyalty and patriotism passed down from one generation to the next. You have an incredible heritage. These are the values that have defined this company and defined our country from the very beginning. And they are the values that will define our future, that will ensure our success, and that will allow America to thrive and win for many generations to come. There is nobody that can defeat us. Nobody. Now I'd like to take just a moment to introduce a few of the Whirlpool men and women whose jobs I had the honor of taking decisive action to protect and to save. Kerry Wallace is an operations analyst whose family has 100 years of history at this very plant. Kerry, please come forward and say a few words, please.
All right, good. We can skip. Hold on.
As the president of here at Whirlpool, thank you very much.
Well, thank you both. And you know, Marco had a beautiful speech written, and he never looked down. You never even looked down at that speech. I'm impressed with both of you. I'm impressed. To every worker here at Whirlpool, thank you once again for welcoming us. It's an honor to be here. And thank you for your commitment to American manufacturing. You're a great company with great, great people.
Are you going to make America
Together,
safe
we
again?
will bring back our jobs, we will bring back our factories, and we
make
will
it
bring
strong
back
again?
our American dream.
Yeah. Gonna make America great again, are you?
God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Oh, no. And no Rolling Stones. No, instead they're playing YMCA. They're not doing, you can't always get what you want. Okay, I got a lot of stuff to do, guys. This was, holy crap, this was a 2 hour and 38-minute broadcast. Non-stop Trump today. That's too much for any man to take. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks to everybody who's watching in the future. And thanks to everybody who's watching but not in the chat room. It's been a pleasure, guys. Honestly, a lot of it hasn't. Not you guys. That guy. That guy. That guy. I would vote for him for president of Thailand. I'll tell you that right now. Everybody have a great evening. No, Billy Joel winner right now. We did that yesterday, and now it's history song. The history song. We didn't start the fire against New York State of Mind. That's up there right now. If you haven't voted yet in the Billy Joel Madness, those two songs are taking each other on. Go to KevinlyFather, hashtag Billy Joel Madness. Just go to Twitter, go to hashtag Billy Joel Madness, and vote. I'm out of words, folks. I sound like Trump. Aloha, cacao, cacao, cacao. That's it. Just okay. I got things to do, guys, and I really need to go take a tinkle. So you guys have a great night. Be safe. What time is it? 2 o'clock. It's only 2 o'clock. Oh my God! I'm ready for bed. He is exhausting. Wow. Okay. Only another 89 days of this, folks. And then the time until the election. I mean, the inauguration. And then if he loses the election, all the next 4 years after that. Okay, guys. Be good. Here are some closing credits. Hey, people. If you'd like to help support this broadcast, go to KevinlyFather.com where you can become a Patreon. And if you already are a Patreon or... guy with the leaf blower apparently doesn't want me doing my call to action. Share this broadcast with a friend. Tell someone about it. Let's bring more people into the crowd. Trump fans or not. Bring them in. That's my call to action that my producer told me to do. So, everybody be good. Here are some more producers and some Dollar Shame Clubbers and all sorts of people. Those are great people. Here's a